Welcome to this podcast on the pursuit of worth. Listen and be inspired.
Thank you, Dr. Mosero. That session was quite mind-blowing.
Okay.
It was quite very mind-blowing. And
thank you, sir.
I really gained a lot from that. It actually helped me to have a clarity of idea and thought about my self-worth. When you mention self-worth, it's something we just, we don't actually connect with.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't really see what it is. And from that section, you made us to believe and to see that self-worth is quite a very, very important thing. It drives everything.
Absolutely.
Our success, our happiness, our joy, a whole lot of things.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for that class.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was a wonderful session.
Yeah.
But, having said that, I actually want you to even some of us who have this mindset that self-worth does not count in the equation of our success. I want you to really throw light on, if I don't assess or engage my self-worth, what are the implications?
Fantastic. This is actually a very, very, very important question. Thank you so much for asking this question. I would like to begin by saying that in over a decade of research in entrepreneurship, in engaging in high-level dialogue, intellectualizing, I now come to one simple conclusion. And, some people might say that probably is an understatement, but for me, I meant it if I say that probably the most important thing that anyone could actually do before you start any journey is understanding your own worth. Everything that I've done in the last decade now have zoomed into the question of worth, because I realized that it is the foundation of everything. Like you rightly identified, that's why during the session I kept emphasizing that 90% of the time when you ask people about worth have become such a buzzword that we just use without connecting, without having any meaning to it. So the first thing to say is that, when people engage in a relationship, it's because it's worth it. If they break out of a relationship, it's worth it. If you are doing a job, it's because it's worth it. If you left it, it's because it's worth it. If you start a business, it's because it's worth it. If you sell the business, because it's worth it. So everything in life revolves around worth. So could there be a more important thing actually to understand than worth? So like I said, what really drove my notion of worth is I realized that every single time I ask people about worth, initially they think they understand their worth, but the more you begin to interrogate their worth by asking a very simple question like the one I asked during the event, like, how much is your 1 hour worth? Then you immediately realize people are taken aback. They realize they actually don't know. And if that happens to you, you're not alone, because it happened to me. I remember very well a point when I went to a pitch on completion of my PhD, and I was asked during the pitch how much was my 1 hour worth, and I had no answer. I was so dumbfounded, and I look around. All I did was I just settled down for the minimum wage that I was having then. But then the panel of judges said to me, you cannot, after acquiring the PhD, the experiences that you have in life and everything, the knowledge and everything, and then you put it in that minimum wage. It was at that point I also realized fundamentally that there were so many people like me who really never thought about it. And if you haven't thought about it, then it means it would have a very fatal consequences to your life. I now call this the cycle, the poverty of the cycle of poverty worth. What it means is that when you find yourself in a situation like I did then, to pick up your daily rate, the past, and then recycle it to the present, and then it's turned to your growth for the future, then what you're just engaging is what I call the poverty of worth. And then people will wonder, why is it that their life have become so stuck that they're constantly moving around the same cycle? It's simply because, without realizing, subconsciously they find themselves in what I call the poverty of worth. In order for you to begin to see any success in life, you have to break